Philly, come in. Philadelphia, we are Uncut. Philadelphia, put down that cup of coffee, get up off the couch, and jump up around the living room and celebrate, guys. It is Philadelphia Jazz Month, and I got clean, beautiful, pure, original jazz for you. A full half hour of it on Uncut. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Thr3zus. Men, take it away. Yes! Yes! That is Philadelphia Uncut, baby. That is what I call television. Oh my gosh. It's actually jazz music with a camera shooting it. Is what. Good Lord Almighty, gentlemen. Ernest Stuart, thank you so much. Ernest, introduce your band to us, if you would, please.
Jason Fraticelli.
Jason Fraticelli
on the bass. Lionel Forrester Jr.
Lionel
on the
Forrester
drums.
Jr., not to be mistaken for senior, on the drums. Beating the dickens out of them. Guys, fantastic stuff. Hey, I tell you, Ernest, grab a hold of that for me first. That's a microphone. You can either clip it on or hold it and pass it around. First of all, first question's the obvious one. To, I suppose, anybody that enjoys jazz or a good combo. I have not yet, until this moment, seen a trombone-led jazz trio. And y'all came in, first of all, it's very Philly, because real rhythmic. I mean, you can get your rump shaking to what you guys just did.
Oh, good.
But
good.
There's so much. I can't put a ruler to it. For me, for a guy that really wants to hear something different, but I can keep my feet on the ground and understand it. That was it. That was beautiful, fellas. Thanks.
Yeah. That's what it's like growing up and musically in Philly. I think you get an incredible opportunity to play a little bit of everything. And when I used to play salsa all the time in North Philly, and I used to play neo soul and rock gigs, hip hop gigs, R&B gigs. I mean, Philly is just full of incredible music.
All right. Well, look, the reason that we have to thank you all for being with us today is that it is Philadelphia Jazz Month. Give me a quick summary on that. We got to go to a break.
For sure. Philly Jazz Month is just a celebration of everything culturally important about Philadelphia music. Jazz is incredibly important to our identity as Philadelphians, and I think that everyone should appreciate that cultural heritage.
Nice job. Ernest Stuart, everybody. And I do. I'm on Team Ernest, guys. Give me 2 minutes. We're going to be back with more Uncut. We got more music, plus stories, all of it. Get to know the musicians, find out where this music is headed, because it's the best thing going. Give me 2. We'll be right back.
What tune do you want to play?
All right, guys, having a little fun here at Chris's Jazz Cafe with Thr3zus. This is the trombone-led. Any good jazz combo, unless they're going way out there, is typically going to have a bass and some drums. Maybe not these cats in particular, but Lionel, take us into it a little bit. Tell me a little bit of what got you on these drums. You've been doing it since you're a little kid. I guess it's just the sound of it. When a kid does things, it does it because they want to, right?
Well, when I was a kid, I used to just sit on the pews at church, and the drummer would just be over there playing some of the craziest stuff, and I just couldn't believe it. So one Sunday he didn't show up, and I walked over on the drums.
You've got to be kidding me.
I could barely sit down on the seat.
You're joking.
And I'm just up there playing a church beat, and it's so funny. My mom told me that everyone in the church was looking at her, so she thought I was in trouble, so she was about to give me a spanking.
The pastor's like, leave that boy alone.
But then she saw me play, and then actually, her and my aunt and my uncle and my goddad all put together $20 and got me my first drum set.
Son of a gun.
And then it went up from
Nelly
there.
barred the door from there. Nice job. Excellent. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of the way one more time, because when we got the music, we got to play it. Ernest, what's next? What do we call this next one?
We are going to play a song entitled Lost Ones.
Lost Ones.
And I totally knew that. I didn't just think about that.
That's all right. Call it what you want to, guys. Just have a seat, grab your coffee back up, get back on the couch, and listen to this. Gentlemen, the show is yours. Yes, sir, everybody. That is Thr3zus. We'll be back to Chris's Jazz Cafe down here on Sansom Street. More Uncut in 2 minutes. We'll be right back. All right, guys, back here to the home of legends, Chris's Jazz Cafe on Sansom Street with Thr3zus. Ernest Stuart, tell us a little bit about, and you are an educator as well.
Well, I work for I am an ex-educator. I now work for an organization called Mid-Atlantic Arts, and we partnered with the city, Creative Philadelphia, Val Gay, the city's chief cultural officer, to create and rebrand, essentially, Jazz Appreciation Month to Philly Jazz Month.
Well, and it's a wonderful month to be out seeing. I got to figure. Plus, spring has sprung. The weather's going to be a little bit nicer
sure,
today, notwithstanding this. But
Today.
What's coming up this month? I mean, for a jazz freak, where should they be? I would imagine any night here at Chris's. But
any night here at Chris's, obviously South Jazz Restaurant. There's an incredible festival happening in Germantown called the Germantown Jazz Festival happening this month. This past weekend was the East Passyunk Jazz Crawl.
There you go.
So hopefully some of you guys made it out to that. There's also a really great venue in South Philly called Not So Latin.
Who you telling, man?
Yeah.
We got a half hour out of this.
Oh, amazing!
You got to know when they're there. You got to
Yeah.
know what nights, but
Absolutely.
and you got to know what building because there's no marquee. You got to know where to be. But
exactly.
boy, they rip it.
Oh, it's amazing. And there's an incredible trumpeter, the guy who runs the Temple Jazz Department, Terrell Stafford, is going to be performing there later this month.
Well, Terrell Stafford's
Incredible.
pretty much legend status.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. So if you go to phillyjazzmonth.com, you'll see it all.
Ernest, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'd be remiss. We've spoken with you, and we're lying with some. Jason, the bass man's got to get a piece. Give some to the bass man. Jason, I really enjoy watching you play.
Thanks.
Part of me wishes that the screen were vertical in a way because I could get a lot more of you in there and put your hands moving so far up and down. Now, what do you call it? You don't have frets on a bass violin, do you?
No, you do not. It's fretless. And this is an instrument. It has so many names: upright bass, stand-up bass, acoustic bass. But yeah.
Is it wrong to call it a bass violin? And
No,
even though it's 100 times bigger than a violin. But
that's one of the names.
Can you stick the bottom of it up there in your shoulder and play it? Never mind. That's a dumb
Can't
question.
do that.
How did you find
not
these
at this
two
age.
cats? How did you find them? And what makes you so happy playing with them? All three of you guys are searching really, really hard. I love the music, but I haven't heard anything that I've heard before yet, and that's what I like.
That's awesome. Thanks, man. You know, we met each other in the scene here in Philadelphia, which is it's kind of like a family. We've met in the clubs. I know Ernest and I and Lionel would be at time playing gigs, hanging out, sitting in with each other. And then the first time that this group got together, we didn't really talk about much. We just kind of played, and it naturally became what it was.
That's a
and
good
it's
sign,
been a lot
right?
of fun.
We didn't say a word, but we were jamming out by the time we got done. Good stuff. Excellent. Jason Thr3zus, bass player for Thr3zus. I said Thr3zus, right?
Fraticelli.
Fraticelli. Hey, look, that's a 6 out of 10. I'm sorry about that. Hey, listen. Look, where is it? All right, Ernest, what do you get out of playing? I always find the trombone to be such a fascinating instrument. One reason, like when I'm trying to shoot you playing the trombone, I got to be careful I don't get blasted in the face. But it's a wonderful jazz instrument, and it works in a way that no other real instrument does with that slide. I mean, there's a whole dynamic to that. And once you learn how to work it, you can swing with it too.
For sure, for sure. You know, I mean, I didn't even want to play the trombone. I got stuck with it, but it's taken me around the world, and getting the hang of it. I'm still trying to get the hang of it.
Do you play other instruments? You play other brass?
No. Trust me, I got my hands full with this.
I was going to say, well, I mean, yeah, but look, you can keep your struggles to yourself. Man. I'm serious though, because that's the thing too, guys. When you're talking to jazz musicians, they're always going to be, well, I'm working on this, I'm doing that, I'm trying this. Sounds like a volcano up here on stage. It sounds like you've been playing it for a million years, and I know you have. It's just the difference in me enjoying it and him just woodshedding the dick, and he's going to be hard on himself when he's 85 years old on that trombone.
For sure.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll figure a couple of things out by then, but you know.
Tell me about keeping the cats together, though, in a lot of ways, because you're all pros, you're all traveling quite a lot, and I'm guessing that you guys each have 2 or 3 different outfits you like to play with. I mean,
Yeah, you know, but I think the most important part is the stuff that doesn't happen on stage. You know, for the first half hour or so, 45 minutes, we were sitting over there talking and hanging out. And I think that's mainly why we do this. You know, the music is an excuse to kind of just be together and hang out, you know.
Well, but I mean, the friendship and the conversation,
For sure.
those are their own forms of the form, right?
Yeah, it is music, you know.
Yeah.
And I think when you can dig deep into that and that's strong, then whatever happens up on stage is easy.
Yeah.
You know? It's easy.
Well, easy for you to say.
Anyone can do this.
Easy for you to say, easy for me to enjoy, guys. They call them Thr3zus, and I tried to make them a Philadelphia act, and they are.
We are.
But the through line of this group runs through
Pennsauken, New Jersey.
Pennsauken, New Jersey. How about them apples, guys? The magic is everywhere. Give me 90 seconds. These guys need a minute and a half to goof it off anyway if we're going to have one more hit when we get back. Give me 90 seconds. We'll be right back with more Uncut and Thr3zus. All right, guys, we are back at Chris's Jazz Cafe. Lionel.
Yes, sir.
Lionel Forrester, right?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes,
Lionel
sir.
Forrester, the drummer. Talk to me about Philadelphia Jazz Month. What does it mean to you, my friend?
It means everything to me. You know, I'm a big historian with jazz and the drums, and not only that, I'm a huge advocate of the future and what's going on. So, you know, everyone listen to your favorite jazz record, come out to some shows, and if you see a jazz musician on the street, give him $20, all right?
Yeah, there we go.
It's Jazz History Month, okay? Help me get my Uber, all right?
Yeah, so 1 month out of the
Thank
year.
you.
Help a brother out. All right, nice job. There it is. Jason, there you go. The plea is out already. Add to it, my good man. What do you need, a pair of pants?
I'll take what I can get.
No, but it's a great month to celebrate something that we know is
and
great
what
in the
it
city.
means to me is I get to see my friends and play music with my friends. Each band's like a family. You get together on the gig. It's a beautiful thing. And one family I get to see, I'm playing with Pablo Batista, the Philadelphia percussion player, at South on April 10th. Nice. So that'll be one of many, many things happening.
And you'll be holding down the bass on that?
I'll be on the gig.
There it is, guys. Beautiful stuff. Thank you, Jason. All right, Ernest. I mean, listen, thank you once again, by the way, while I got you here, for bringing all the guys out.
Thank you.
Thanks to Chris's as well for making a place
big
for it.
thanks to Chris's Jazz Cafe.
Yeah.
This place has been around since, I mean, I can remember. This was one of the first jazz clubs I went to when I was a kid. I snuck in to play a song at the jam session. So this place is very meaningful to me. And big thank you to the owners, Mark and Maureen, for having us.
Thank you to them. Those are the best kinds of stories. What are you going to play us out with?
We're going to play a song that we just came up with one day at a sound check called Emoji. It's good. It'll be a good one to end this all out with.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thr3zus, thank you once again for sharing with us, gentlemen. And please, one more time, take it away. This is Jazz Cafe. We'll see you tomorrow for another live Uncut. Enjoy Philadelphia Jazz Month.